Hi, this is Mary Frances Winters, President and CEO of the Winters Group. Every week we come to you with Inclusion Solution, and this week is no different. What's different about this week is I've decided to come to you via video rather than writing you my traditional message. I trust that you and your loved ones are well and safe and healthy during this difficult time as we're managing the pandemic. We've reached a milestone in the United States, over 100,000 deaths, and many, many more around the world. The work of diversity, equity, inclusion is never easy, and is particularly difficult now. COVID-19 has brought out the best and the worst in people. It's brought out the empathy and the caring and the sacrifice, but it's also brought out the hate and the selfishness and the racism and the xenophobia. Our work is more important now than ever before because COVID-19 shows us that we still have a lot of work to do. And my heart is particularly heavy today because not only are we dealing with the pandemic, we're also dealing with, again, the killing of an unarmed Black man, George Floyd, in Minneapolis. Less than 30 days ago, we were dealing with Ahmaud Arbery. We're also dealing with Nina Pop, a trans woman who was killed. We're also dealing with Breonna Taylor, who was shot dead in her apartment by law enforcement who stormed her apartment without any warning. When I think about George Floyd and he said, "I can't breathe," it's reminiscent of Eric Garner in 2017, who said the same thing. It brings back Trayvon Martin, who was walking home from the store from buying Skittles, who was gunned down by someone who, a security guard who felt that he was making some kind of a citizen's arrest, as in the George Floyd situation. It's reminiscent of Tamar Rice, who was a 12-year-old boy who had a toy gun. So all of this is compounding stress, compounding fatigue. As many of you know, I'm writing a book called Black Fatigue: How Racism Erodes the Mind, Body, and Spirit. If you want to know what Black fatigue is like, this is what it is like. So for the past couple of weeks, I have not been able to sleep. I feel numb. I've not been as productive. My editor wants me to finish this book, Black Fatigue. It's very triggering to know that we continue to have to deal with these issues. So many of our clients, actually 4 of our clients, have contacted us to ask us to help them have dialogue with Black and Brown employees about these autocracies. How can I come to work and feel safe? I'm fearful. We hear about white people being fearful of Black people. We're the ones who are fearful because we don't know if we go out of our houses if we're going to come back safe. We can't even go bird watching without our race being an issue and without us being seen as a threat. The situation that happened in Central Park, where the white woman said that this African American man was threatening her. Many of you saw that video. We're going to continue at the Winners Group and through our inclusion solution to write about these situations. We're going to continue to take action by trying to provide learning experiences to help create a more equitable and less racist world. We're going to talk more about social justice. We're going to talk more about what it's like, what it means to be an anti-racist versus a non-racist. We're going to illuminate the issues that people are having in the workplace. I hear all sorts of stories, not just the fear, but the fear in the workplace. This week, we write about white supremacy. We continue to write about white supremacy. And Scott Ferry, one of our newest employees, talks about, as a white male, what that looks like for him. Brittany Harris, in a point of view, points out 5 reasons and why 5 things that we shouldn't do as Black people, or feel that we should need to do as Black people in the wake of these horrendous situations. We invite you to join us with your voice and your actions. We need to be contacting our elected officials. We need to let them know that it's not the same when you're looking at violence, when you're seeing the riots. We have to understand what's underneath of that, what the pain and the trauma that has created that. We know throughout history that oftentimes it is violence that gets change. When white people resort to violence, it's oftentimes seen as necessary. When Black people resort to violence, it's seen in a very negative way, and arrests happen and tear gas happens. We have to understand why these situations occur and get at the root and get at the system's problems. This is a long video. I apologize for that. But there's just so much on my heart right now. And I do in some ways feel helpless. And I know that we are all working very hard to try to dismantle racism in this country and beyond. We must try harder. And we at the Winters Group will continue, and we will be trying harder to take more significant action, because we cannot continue to lose Black lives. It's a genocide.